do is change partner. So I want you to go with somebody that you're not familiar with. Because training with the same person all the time is comfortable. And what you really need to do is train uncomfortably, so that you become comfortable with uncomfortable. Does that make sense? We're going to push your boundaries, right? So you can change partner, get rid of partner. All you're going to do from here, first, no pain, is I'm just going to give you some exposure to somebody being aggressive. So this drill will allow you the opportunity to vent frustration. How many people get frustrated when they're driving and somebody cuts them off? How many people get frustrated in traffic? How many people are fucking outraged and frustrated as fuck to this current shit situation? This fucking scandemic. How many are pissed off with it? You're not yet? Do you need some more? Right? Well, you should understand that you have the right to vent that. And what I'm giving you here now, as a training exercise, is the carte blanche to do that. Because most people are uncomfortable in the socially conditioned beta way of being aggressive, even pretending. But all we're doing is pretending. So I want you to put it in the context of this, so it potentially sits more comfortably with you. Use your imagination. I want you to imagine that you are all budding students of acting. You really want to get into film. I wouldn't recommend it, but you do. Right? And you happen to be at a Martin Scorsese review day where they're looking for a certain person to play a certain role in a certain film. And you as young budding actors would just love it on your CV to get in my film. Well, if I said to you, okay, all you're going to do is be a prick. Guy's going to show a threat display, he's going to point a cunt, he's going to be aggressive, he's going to move forward. I'll show you an example, and you have to model it. And when you model it, I want you to imagine that you are it. So when you're being aggressive and anti-fucking social, I want you to immerse yourself in that role as if you were trying to get in a Martin Scorsese film. Does that make sense? And you've got the green light to do that because this is just play. That's all it is. I'm not telling you to be aggressive if you feel uncomfortable with it, right? And all you're going to do is have this drill. So this person's going to have up the fence that you've been using, right? And it's going to be mobile, it's going to be moving. So wherever I move, he'll move. And he'll try and maintain this measure, no matter where I go, right? What I'm not going to do is hit him yet. There's a progression, I will. But what I'm giving him exposure to is receiving aggressive behaviour, where there's profanity, threats, aggressive looking body language, stuff that none of you fuckers would be familiar with. Does that make sense? Well, some of you may be, but some of you not. Right? Because it's been socially conditioned out of society and it's considered fucking antisocial. So if somebody gives you antisocial behaviour like I'm going to give you now and you don't know it, how do you think you would feel? Scared. And that actual byproduct of what you say is scared is the natural process of adrenaline hitting your body, preparing you for danger, which you will misinterpret for fear, which will lead to scared, which can lead to panic, which can lead to freeze, which is what you must fucking avoid at all costs. And I'm going to make sure that no student of mine will freeze, or at least run, or they'll fight. So it's important that if you are going to not freeze in the face of such a situation, you need to get familiar with what that fucking situation looks like. Does that make sense to you all? So we practice this drill called aggression therapy. Now during this drill, all I'm allowed to do at the most is slap his hands down. Or I can come forward so he's forced to push me back and push off me. Do not just push off me like so. I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to hit him and I'm not going to grab him. Do you understand? Right? But what he's going to do, if you keep silent, doesn't matter, I suggest you breathe. You could say something along the lines of, stay back, I'm not interested, I don't want a problem. Strive to use your voice. Notice how adrenaline starts to hit your body, your voice will sound quiet. Your vocal cords will quiver. Right? If you've not experienced this before. Person on the other end, being aggressive, it's like a psychological detox. Can you imagine that? So, people climb the top of a fucking mountain just to scream their fucking head off, don't they? How good do they feel when they've done it? Eh? People pay shrinks fucking hundreds of dollars and hundreds of pounds just to talk about their psychological garbage. Well, this is a psychological detox. I'm giving you the chance to go fucking ape shit, call him all the cunts in the world, threaten him, threaten his family, you've got to fuck his mum, whatever the fuck you want, for a duration of 30 seconds. That's the psychological detox. And we all understand that when we do this drill, nothing any of us say is personal. It's the purpose, so whatever comes in my head. And you're going to do the same when it's your turn. Do you make sense? And the only reason that we're doing this is so that we can grow a fucking skin and stop being snowflakes and get a thicker skin, rather than everything you say is offended. Because if you're really easily offended just because somebody didn't tick your like box, then this will fucking terrify you. In which case, this is a good opportunity for you to get familiar with aggression in class. Do you understand? What you want to do is keep your hands up, tell me you don't want no trouble. You fucking look at me. Fucking you me, cunt. You fucking done. What you fucking do? You fucking do. Fucking back up. You had to do nothing. Yeah. See you.
Stay away from me. Just stay away from me. I don't want to
fucking say nothing.
Fucking stay back.
This kind of thing. Right? You know what aggressive verbalisation looks like? It's a sarah to people that know it. It's another day at the office. But if you're unfamiliar with that, that will make you freeze. So you need to get familiar. Now, notice what I did. Because I'm being aggressive, I'm combative in attitude. Which means I'm argumentative, I'm willing to fight. Notice I was coming forward all the time, forcing him to constantly push me back. I was slapping his hands down. Well, the reality, you would not allow that to happen. So we had two-touch rule. Understand the structure he's using, and the structure I've been teaching you, his fence position. From a tactical point of view, it's no different to this. It just looks unobtrusive and non-aggressive, which is good for CCTV and really good for impartial witnesses. So what did you see, man? I saw that man, he was trying to talk him down and move away. That's good for you. It doesn't look that way if I'm doing this, does it? So a unobtrusive, non-violent posture is your platform from which to take him off the fucking planet. Yeah? So if he was aggressive like that, really, let's say, and he's telling me I don't want no trouble, blah, blah, blah. If I come forward one time and he shoves me back, here, right, the next time I touch this, he's going to preempt me. Yeah? So I would be here, and he could push me back one time, and I would give him a bang, that's when he'd hit me. You have a two-touch rule. Never allow anyone, keep coming forward, never allow anyone to touch your fence, which is what he's doing now. My lead hand's my fence hand, just the same as my jab, my fence around my factory. It's a lead hand, my probe to keep him at bay. This is my fence. If he touches it by moving forward, he's told me his intent. He wants to come forward in order to hurt me. The final precursor to violence is distance closure. If he slaps my hand down, he's touched my fence. He's told me he wants it out of the way because he's going to start. That's what he's telling me. That's a pre-threat cue. Can you pick it up in your head? Yes? So if he was aggressive, give me some shit.
Fuck you, look at me. So you give me fucking hands up.
You see what he did. So come forward if you're going to be aggressive. No one's aggressive like that. That's somebody that's dropped the bottle. Hands are here, splaying. You're aggressive, coming forward.
Well, fuck you, look at me. Give me your fucking hands up.
Just touch it once.
Shit out of something.
Just touch it once. Yeah? You carry on. And I keep doing that. And I keep doing that. Keep going. Right, shut. Hands are up.
Fuck you doing? You doing your fucking hands?
How long before?
My fucking chest.
How long before you think he's going to go? Couple more, maybe. The point is, I don't know, so I can't take the chance. And I'm not going to keep telling him to stay there. It's going to be, he's aggressive.
What the fuck are you doing?
Carry on, mate.
Fucking hands. There's some fucking shit.
Straight to that. As soon as I hit him, fucking hit him again and again. Until he's down. Done. Do you see the role reversal? Previously, he's all like this. Predatory profile. I'm like this, trying to diffuse. Non-predatory profile. And all of a sudden, I preempt and keep going until he's done. With speed, surprise, and violence of action. That's how you win. Do you understand? That's not a fight. That's a clinical removal of a threat. But it's useful. This drill, the reality is how we do it is that. But the purpose of this drill, he can come forward 50 times and I'll keep stepping back. He can slap my hands down 50 times and I'll keep him at bay and moving. Because the purpose of this drill is simply to give you exposure to the aggressive demeanour. So you get a little bit more familiar. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah. Right, so let's have George. Let's have you. Right? You're as good as a dog, mate. Right, so you're just going to be, I'm not interested, bud. Keep your hands up. Keep them up all the time. You don't need to go loud. Yeah. Just literally stay away from him. Not interested. Just give him some shit. We're going to go 15 seconds. then you switch roles. Try and immerse yourself into it. Imagine if I was a fucking pissed off, apex fucking predator who just found out that my best mate's been fucking my wife for the last 5 years, how would I feel? And get in that role. Does that make sense? Immerse. Don't eat it, no. Right, it's an exercise. I just want you to get a taste of what that kind of antichrist feeling would feel like, because it's a resource. Anyone that tells you that knows me. I'm a good skin. I'm a nice brother. I'll pull you out. I'll do whatever I can. A loving soul. If you make me a cornered animal, I'll steal your fucking face. There's no front without back. You've got to develop that Gemini part of yourself. Because right now, this day and age, you fucking need him. He's been bred out of you, but it's still in you. And one way to get towards finding it is first of all to get some familiarity with what does aggressive people actually look like and feel like. So when he does this drill for you for the first time, you're probably going to get some adrenaline. That's good, because now you're getting some familiarity. So let's just have a look, see how it comes. Ready, go!
Where the fuck are you looking at? Do with your fucking hands. Keep the pussy strap on. You fucking wanking too much. Fucking looking at you, old cunt. What's the fucking touching me? What's the problem? Fucking touching me. What's the problem? It's fucking who you touching me for. Right. Hey, fucking hands off.
Good. So of course you wouldn't allow it to go on that long because of the two-touch rule. Touches me once, I'm pushing him back. Touches me again, I'm knocking him out. Do you understand? You're simply getting that elongated in order to get exposure to aggressive behaviour. Now, Craig did as best as he could. He comes from a posh part of Bournemouth and he boxed at Oxford. But really, I think he's doing all right. You know what I mean? If you've got somebody a bit more street, I should have got means to do it. Right? But now you've got the carte blanche, you've got the permission. Right, so I'm now doing it. You raise up, you battle with me. You fucking touch me, you touch me! Don't you fucking touch me, you skinny little cunt, I'll fucking smash your gummy! So you fucking touch me for... What you wanna fucking touch me for? You fucking mug, you wanna go? You wanna go? You wanna go, you cunt? Yes. You wanna be able to go from teaching you that kind of demeanour to back to teaching you how I am now. You want that control of your emotional state. Do you understand? Right, get together then and let's see what happens. It's a probe. So he's not an apex predator, but he's dangerous. In which case, he'll probably fuck you looking at. You've got a fucking problem with me. This is about fucking you and me, you little cunt. This sort of thing. And if he gives that immediate response, says, wide-eyed, looks around, is he talking to someone else? No, not me. That then tells me, by probing my toe in the water, good victim selection. And now I'll progress to being more aggressive to the attack itself or the threat of the attack. Do you understand? So how then should you deal with that? Well, if you deal with that all passive and shrivel up, you'll get eaten. And if you are explosively aggressive back, that can work if you've got the right physical and psychological makeup. You haven't. You could instead, rather than go passive or super aggressive, assertive. Yeah? So if a guy come up to me like that, I'll be, whoa mate, take it easy, I ain't got no trouble, bro. Fucking hell, you're having a bad day, it's not my fucking fault. Leave me alone, I'm just going about my business. So notice what I did. On the verbal scale that Craig was using, if we used a volume example, it was probably about 7 or 8. I took my voice to 7 or 8, but using a bad dog tone. Bad dog, bad dog. I'm not being confrontational in my words. I'm being assertive and creating a physical verbal boundary as I move away. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah. Well, because this is an interview, a probe of a sort, he wants to give me that threat display to see how I react. And if I react by shitting myself, he will attack. If I react by going off my head, it could work, it could be petrol on the fire. But if I'm assertive, he's reframing his perspective of me to one where I could at least resist and fight back. Does that make sense? And most bullies will pick someone else. Because the two things they don't want, they don't want to get hurt, and they don't want to get found out. So I understand I'm talking about social violence. The kind you get in the nightclub, gratuitous violence in the street. I'm not talking about violence, or apex predators like a serial killer or a psychopath. Do you understand? This is a different level of violence. I'm talking about the kind of violence you get when some cunt tries to mug you, or he's had a bad day and now you're getting all of it, or he's too pissed, couldn't handle his drugs and he's kicked off. Pitch that in your head? Yes or no? Yeah. So I want you to get familiar. So let's do the aggression therapy.